remember being so confused when I was first starting out with this hobby, hearing people talk about spring fragrances and winter fragrances and fall fragrances and summer fragrances and all of this and everything else in between. I had no idea what people were talking about and where they were coming to these conclusions of what makes a fragrance suitable for each different season. And one thing you guys have brought up many times is that it doesn't really matter. And I have to agree to some certain extent. It really doesn't matter. You'll notice when you go buy one of these, they don't have instructions on the box saying, hey, you can only wear this for, or you should only wear this for spring or for winter or whatever. You'll have guys that are wearing Versace Eros and Spice Bomb in the dead of summer, and it somehow still works for them. But once you do get a little bit more invested into the hobby, you start to build up a bigger collection. At that point, it does start to make sense for you to group things into certain different categories, so that way you can get the most wearing experience out of your particular different scents, and that way you can change it up and keep it fresh. And so what I want to do today is I want to lay it out for you. I want to make it really easy, whether you're a beginner, you're a little bit more intermediate, or you're just someone that's more advanced in this hobby, but you're just looking to add some new things to your collection. I'm going to be going over the 3 best fragrance for each different season. So we're going to start off with spring, work our way all the way up to winter and fall, which is going to be more relevant right now, at least for most of us. So we'll provide links to these down below to Discounter so you can get them at the best prices. I'm posting deals every day, all day on my community tab. And now, if you want to start getting those deals to your email, so that way you're not missing out anymore, you're trying to be a little bit more discreet at work so your boss doesn't see you have YouTube pulled up 24/7, you can sign up and receive those deals by email. You can hit the first link in the video description to do that, and that's just how you can kind of get them that way. Nothing is going to change on the community tab. It doesn't cost you any money. It's just another way for you to be able to make sure you're not missing out, because the community tab, unfortunately, does not send out notifications. Giveaways still going up every month over there, $500 a month to one of you guys. So if you do subscribe, it really helps me out and I appreciate it highly. Spring, first up, we have YSLY Eau de Toilette. So really, this is going to be one of those scents that a lot of people might group into summertime. But sometimes people will kind of say that YSLY EDP is not a summer fragrance because then it goes too sweet. So there's kind of a balance there. Personally, for me, I like YSLY EDP in the summertime. Don't have a problem with it. But when I smell, especially the Eau de Toilette version, there's the strong aldehydes, kind of airy note in here, and the very fresh, clean linen smell that really just remind me of spring. Something about this one that is so refreshing, so uplifting, and so bright. And overall, a very happy scent. And that's kind of what I think of in a spring scent, because you gotta think of it, you're coming out of winter hibernation, things are finally coming back to life, and this kind of represents that. It's a really, really mass-pleasing scent, very versatile, and I've actually found that now the new version of the EDT, which is what you're gonna get now if you buy it pretty much anywhere, it actually performs better than the old version of the EDT. They did have to reformulate this one. For me, I'll take the new over the old. I think it was actually a good improvement. Next up, we have Polo Deep Blue Parfum. Not to be confused with Polo Blue Parfum, which came out this year and is also really good. But for this example right here, going Deep Blue Parfum. This one has sea notes, mango, and ambroxan in here. So a little bit blue fragrance inspired, but with the Polo Blue DNA, and so that gives it a little bit more of a classiness than your typical blue fragrance. And if you want to compare this to YSLY EDT, this one's actually a little bit more mature, a little bit more refined, more masculine, and even a little bit more traditional because it does have that original DNA going on. But it kind of refreshes it, modernizes it, and brings it back to life. I think it's a really nice scent that you can actually get on discounters for around $50 for a 4.2 ounce bottle like this one. And it also has great performance, given that it's an actual parfum concentration here. Really can't go wrong with this in the spring. The mango accord really gives it something a little bit different. Next up, one of my favorite designer fragrances, and especially from this brand in particular, one of my favorites, Chanel Allure Homme Sport Eau Extreme. Now this one here has tonka bean. It's got some orange, of course, some aldehydes. So kind of a fits in with a similar trend that we have going on here. The only difference is this one has a little bit more sweetness, a little bit more of a powdery smell, and a little bit more depth compared to the other two we've been talking about. This one to me has always smelled so high-end. It's always smelled so fancy, and it's kind of a weird way to describe this one because a lot of people would say this is just super generic, but I really don't think so. I've just always found myself just really gravitating towards this, not even in a way of like, oh, it's just super versatile and that's it, so I'm going to wear it, but in a way that I like the scent profile. I like how it develops. I like how it smells on my skin. And so while some people may pick this up just to get compliments, I pick it up and wear it because I genuinely love how it smells. And you can't really say that about everything being released these days. A lot of things people are just wearing because it gets you good compliments and it performs good. But for me, the smell of this one is really unbeatable. So moving into summer, we have Hugo Boss reversed here. So, this one to me is easily the best of the line, and by that I mean the canteen style bottles like this. There are a ton of them out there. A lot of them kind of run together and smell similar and are a little bit uninspired. Not to say that this is 100% unique, because it's not. The way I describe this one is it kind of plays off of the Elysium DNA a little bit. Reason why is because it's utilizing a ton of grapefruit, a lot of vetiver, some rosemary, giving you an aromatic touch, and you even do pick up on like an ambroxan accord in here. And Elysium, heavy on the vetiver, heavy on the grapefruit, the citrus, and that sort of thing, and some aromatics. So it kind of fits into that similar category, although not directly a clone of that. Just a very fresh, wearable citrus scent. With good performance, great mass appeal. This is actually one of my fiance's favorites, and I've got a lot of things to choose from, a lot of different things that are much more expensive than this, which usually goes for $40 or less on discounters. Honestly, for summertime, especially when you get this in that high heat, it smells beautiful and you can't really beat it. Next up, we have Acqua di Gio Profondo by Giorgio Armani. This one here is all about the orange, the mineral notes, and of course the aquatic notes, which is what makes this an Acqua di Gio at the end of the day. It's an aquatic with a different take on your typical aquatic style, and that's what I like about it. It separates itself from the original and from all of the other flankers as well. The mineral notes in here is unparalleled to anything else I've ever smelled, and it makes it so unique. I can pretty much guarantee that you've never smelled an aquatic like this one. And last up for the summer category, Dior Homme Cologne. Love the bottle. I mean, that's kind of one of the main selling points for this one. Super, super cool. And what is this? This is your iced sweet lemonade scent. I mean, it really smells like that. It kind of sounds goofy because everyone describes it that way, but I'm telling you guys, if you were to try to capture the smell of having a pitcher of iced, cold, sweet lemonade sitting on your porch in the morning, you're sitting outside, you're watching the sun come up, it's just a beautiful day, it's spring or summer, and you're just enjoying the weather, that's what this smells like. Now, performance is not this one's strong suit, and it makes sense. There's only 3 notes in here, and 2 of which are going to be citrus oriented, and the other one is musk, so there's not a whole lot to go off of, but it really doesn't matter. Yeah, it's expensive, but you can get big bottles like this for a good price per mil. Just spray yourself heavily. Spray your clothing, spray your hair. Honestly, if it can get you through, 3/4 of your morning or your afternoon or whatever, it's really all you need it for. Personally, if you want something a little bit more classy and refined and upscale, that's not going to be too loud and too much of a head turner for some sort of summer event, you really can't go wrong with this one. It just smells super pleasant and you're not going to offend anyone with this. Okay, moving on to the season of fall. Of course, I had to put it in here, Rojas Mustache Eau de Parfum. If you've smelled YSL Tuxedo and you really liked it, but you didn't like the price point, none of us do. So you can buy this instead. And that's really something that's very valuable because Tuxedo, you can't even have a fighting chance of getting that one at discounters usually. It's just always sold out. And if it is at discounters, usually it's going to be a couple dollars less. Maybe it'll actually be more expensive. So this one here you can get for significantly less, and it gives you a very similar result. It's got vanilla, benzoin, some pink pepper in here. It smells gorgeous. I mean, this DNA is so unique. It's such a different take on your typical men's cologne. Could even be unisex, I suppose. And it's just, if you want to stand out and smell different, and you want something that's very classy, very refined, something that people will take you seriously when they smell this on you, check this one out. Can't go wrong with this. Okay, next up for fall, we have Gentleman Reserve Privé Eau de Parfum by Givenchy. Now, you could shuffle this into winter, and really all of these in fall and winter can be shuffled around. Same with the spring and summer, right? It's all just pick one basically, right? It's not really something you have to think about too heavily and obsess over. It's just kind of a general guideline here. So you could toss this wherever you want. I just kind of threw it in the fall category because I went for some even heavier stuff in the winter category, and I wanted to feature this one. So it has that iris DNA with some chocolate and then whiskey and chestnut. So it smells amazing. The chestnut kind of gives it a kind of a roasted gourmand, sitting by the campfire or sitting by the fireplace type of smell, like you're roasting marshmallows. The whiskey gives it a nice sweet booziness, but also makes it a little bit more classy. This is a flanker that just checked all of the boxes. One of my all-time favorite releases of this year. I think this one is going to go on and do some amazing things in the future. It's just getting started. And once this one is available more at discounters, because let's be real, people hate buying at retail. Even if you have a fragrance on discounters that is the same retail price as retail, or sometimes even a couple dollars over, it'll still sell out. Like, people just don't want retailers. They just want to shop at discounters. And so once this one is consistently in stock on the gray market, I think it's going to continue to do incredibly well. Easily one of the best, if not the best, gentleman flanker. This stuff is top notch. And last up for fall, we have 1 Million Elixir by Paco Rabanne. One that's grown on me substantially. You know, it's not something that's going to blow you away, so don't expect that. It's not 1 Million Privé. It's not even 1 Million Lucky, okay? Those two really kind of won people over, especially Privé. That is a masterpiece of a scent. It's not to that level, but it is very pleasant, very wearable. It's got vanilla, tonka bean, and a nice sweet fruity apple accord in here. Very good performer, very appropriate for fall. The kind of vanilla apple smell gives it off kind of a, I don't know, just a fall vibe to me. Just, you know, I kind of think of caramel apples somewhat when I smell this one too. Not that there's really any caramel listed in here, but it just kind of gives off that similar type of smell. It just really checks all the boxes when you want a strong performing mass pleaser. And even for me, someone who can be critical on things, after trying this one more and more, I've come around to it, and at the very least, I really appreciate it now. And I think it's honestly, based off of what's out there on the market right now from the 1 Million line, it's one of the better ones. And for the season of winter, which we're going to be heading into soon, unfortunately, we'll start it off with a more moderately priced one, Ferragamo Uomo. This one has, the cap was crooked there. It's got a nice kind of tiramisu coffee smell off the top. You get a bunch of sweet notes. You get some tonka bean in here as well. I've talked about this before. You know, you could spray it up in the air, and it smells nice. It smells great up in the air, but it doesn't do it justice. You just don't pick up on the same amount of depth in the notes as when you spray it on your skin. You let it settle, kind of start to work into that mid and dry down, then the gourmand aspects really come to life, and that's where it'll really impress you. I mean, this is an easy one to spray on a piece of paper or spray up in the air at a department store and immediately write it off and go make fun of it online when you get home. It's easy to be critical on. But when you actually get this one on your skin and you give it some good proper testings and you're really fair with it, you might be surprised just how solid this one is and the amount of stages that it goes through and how it transforms on your skin. It's actually pretty impressive given that it's a little bit more affordable. For wintertime, you can't beat it. Great performance, decent quality, great compliments. It's a really nice one. Same with this right here, Armani Code Profumo. So, you know, anymore, it's like, all right, either Code Profumo or Code Absolute. I'm always forced to choose, right? And again, when you're someone who has a lot of things and you love a lot of fragrances, again, I love fragrances. You guys probably know this. I post a video about them every day, right? It really gets to be like you're trying to pick your own child, or choose your favorite child, rather. And I don't have any kids, so I don't actually know that feeling, but I can imagine where it's like, all right, you know, what do I do here? So for you at home, pick your favorite. If you like Code Absolute better, substitute it. If you like Code Profumo better, substitute it. I love both. And so I just kind of alternate. And for this video, Code Profumo is one that I threw in because it's a really nice option either way. Now, code Profumo, I will say, is a little bit more youthful, juvenile, playful, has a little bit of a root beer smell, and for the younger guys out there, early 20s, late teens, between Profumo and Absolute, personally, I think Profumo is a better choice for you. When you get a little bit more growing up, mid 20s, late 20s and beyond, Absolute would probably be a little bit more appealing to you. Not that it couldn't work either way, but that's just kind of how I look at it. So again, code Profumo, wintertime, beast mode performance, great compliments, great versatility. If you aren't really too shy about your scents, if you want to stand out, then you can go for this, and it works every time. This last one was pretty much a no-brainer. It's one of the first ones I put in the video entirely. I'm like, all right, I got to get through all these spring, summer, fall, winter. I went straight to winter, and I put this one down first, Spice Bomb Extreme, because I knew I had to feature it in the video. I just wasn't going to let myself be talked out of it, like, oh, I could take out Spice Bomb Extreme and put in this instead. I'm like, nope, I'm putting Spice Bomb Extreme in. So that's what I did. I locked it in right away. Tobacco, vanilla, and black pepper, one of the best designer fragrances ever created. On top of that, one of the best tobacco vanilla designer fragrances ever created. Not comparing this to Tobacco Vanille, which technically is a designer, but I'm talking about designer price point, $100 and under. Tobacco vanilla fragrances, one of the best you can buy. You start getting into niche and it's hard to compete with some of that stuff. But on the affordable side, this is kind of like the cream of the crop right here. If you want a realistic one, if you want a nice, warm, spicy, seductive, and sweet fragrance that's not going to break the bank too much, like Tobacco Vanille or Parfums de Marly Herod or anything of the like, go for this one. You will not be disappointed. Alrighty guys, that's going to do it for me. 12 fragrances for the year, broken down to 3 for each season. Some of the best ones you can get on the market. Links will be down below. Make sure you get subscribed to the email list so you can get those great deals directly to your inbox so you don't miss them. If you don't want to do that, you can still subscribe to the channel, check the community tab every day. Nothing's going to change there. Giveaways every day. Really appreciate you subscribing. It means the world to me. We're trying to hit 200K next year, so I know we can get there, and I appreciate your guys' support. Thank you so much for watching. Stay safe, stay healthy. We'll see you tomorrow with another one. Take care.